Neverland Story, and today I'm going to be talking about my May wrap-up and June TBR. I've read a good amount of books this month. I'm actually happy about it because I've read 6 books, and I have big plans for June. So, yes, I'm wearing a Chicago Cubs shirt. I am from Chicago area, but I'm 50-50 because my family on my dad's side fights on who's the best, but let's not talk about what shirt I'm wearing. Let's talk about my May wrap-up and TBR, so let's get started. The first book I've read in May is Ink, Iron, Glass by Gwendolyn Clare. I did a review video of this, which I'll link down below. I did enjoy it, but the only issue for me was character developments. There weren't a lot of character development on the main character. There were a lot of character developments for the minor characters. I still love the book overall. I'm just not as much. Hopefully the second one would be better since I've heard there's going to be a sequel, so I give this 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I finished reading is The Amazing Spider-Man Brave New Day. I actually rent this from the library. This is the first comic book that I ever read without skimming through it, if you know what I'm talking about when I said I skimmed through Batman The Dark Knight Returns. Oh, I could not get into it, but I love Spider-Man. He's been my favorite Marvel character since I was a kid. I definitely really enjoyed this comic a lot, but Goodreads have it, have the 5 comics in this book split up, so it's like I'm way ahead of my wrinkle on Goodreads, but I have to say that I've read all 5, which is true, and it's all in one book, but I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I've read is The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. Yeah, I almost forgot who the author is. I've listened to this on audiobook. I did like it, but what threw me off is I didn't finish the audiobook on time, so I had to physically read it for the last few parts, but other than that, I enjoyed it, but there were a few issues with it, so I give it 4 out of 5 stars. And it was still a solid read. The next book I've read is The Neverland Wars by Audrey Greathouse. I said The Neverland Wars, right? Yeah, I did. I've also read this from the library. I love it so much. I read it within 3 days. I could not put it down. This is definitely one of my favorite Peter Pan retellings, other than Neverland, but it makes me want to read more. What this book's about is parents lock windows at their homes to protect their children from Peter Pan, and apparently Peter Pan is a real person in this story, and this girl, Gwen, goes to Neverland with Peter Pan and her little sister, and there's war between Neverland and the real world. So I love the concept of this book. This is one of the best, this is one of the best Peter Pan retellings I've read, and this is really underrated, so I definitely would tell you to check it out because I love it and I need to read the sequel. So I give this 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I've read in May is The Book Jumper by Michelle Glaser. I still can't pronounce her name. It's German. I read this with Rebecca from Hummingbird Books, which I'll link down below. I have not discussed this with her, but I definitely enjoyed it a lot. This is different than any other books that I've read. I highly recommend this for anybody who wants to, like a reader who wants to be in a book, and that's what the Book Jumper's all about. Book Jumpers are people who protect literature from being destroyed, and I definitely enjoy the book, so I give this 5 out of 5 stars. The last book I've read is Teen Titans Year 1. This is also a library book that I've rented. This is the only DC thing that I like. Please don't send me hate about not liking other DC comics, but I definitely really enjoyed it. I was expecting different members of the team, but according to my boyfriend Kevin, the Gamer's Genie, he said he's a comic book nerd, and he told me that this is a good comic book book, and the members of Teen Titans changed throughout the comics, so I was like, well, okay, I'll still read it anyway, and I really enjoyed this as well. I'm so happy that I've read 2 comic books this month, so I give this 5 out of 5 stars as well. So now let's talk about the books that I'm planning on reading in June, and I'm starting with the ones I'm currently reading right now. And the first one is Heart of Iron by Ashley Poston. This is a sci-fi retelling of Anastasia, and I'm loving this so much. I have not been able to put this down since I started reading it, even though I didn't read it like a little bit yesterday. The day I'm filming this, I'm loving this so much. I'm like 3/4 in, and I just can't put the book down. This is becoming one of my favorite reads of the year, and I think this one so far and Star of the Pirate King is tied for my #1 favorite book of the year so far. So I'm like, this is hard. I'm loving this and the other book. Oh, this is going to be hard, but I'm loving this so much so far. And the other book I'm currently reading is Cress by Marissa Meyer. This is the 3rd book of the Lunar Chronicles. I'm listening to this on audiobook, and I'm loving it so far. I'm about halfway through it. I'm loving it. I just love the series so much that I'm like, this is really hard for me to pick which book of the series is my favorite so far, but I think it's either Scarlet or this book so far. I just love the series so much that I'm like, I really can't stop listening to them on audiobook because I really enjoy them a lot, and I'm loving this as much as I love Heart of Iron right now. So yeah, I'm loving both of them so far. So some of the books I'm planning on reading in June, and the first one is Princess in Pink by May Cabot. This is the 5th book of the Princess Diaries series. I definitely need to read this as soon as I finish with Heart of Iron, because I don't want to go into a book hangover, because I feel like Heart of Iron is going to make me go on a book hangover, because as I was reading it, I tried to read other books along with it. I'm like, I don't know what to read. I'm either in a mood for fantasy or sci-fi, and I just stick with reading Heart of Iron and not read anything else as I'm reading it. But I definitely need a quick read, and the Princess Diaries books are perfect for books that I'm either on a brain slump or book hangover, because Heart of Iron is really close to putting me in a book hangover, so I'm definitely reading this after that. The next book on my TBR is Wild Beauty by Anna Marie McLemore. I definitely want to read some fantasy, and I thought this would be a good one. And this is a magical realism, which I never read that kind of fantasy book before, but I definitely want to. Plus, the cover is really beautiful with all the flowers and everything. All I know is it's a magical realism, and that's all I need to know, because I just want to go into book blind. So hopefully I'll like it after that. I'm going to be reading in June is The Neverending Story by Michael, and yeah, the reason I put this on my TBR is because I saw an article on Barnes & Noble website saying that if you're still not over what happened in Avengers Infinity War, which I really enjoyed, but I cried throughout the movie, but I don't want to explain it. But anyways, this was one of the books that ended up on the list, and I was like, yep, adding that to my TBR, because, and Kevin said it's good. Well, he hasn't read it, he saw the movie, but I definitely want to read it, see if I like the book more or the movie more with him. So I'm definitely going to be reading this, because I'm just glad that this gave me a push for not getting over what happened in Infinity War. The next book on my TBR is The Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. I asked you guys on Twitter to vote for what book I should add to my TBR, and this ends up a winner because there was a tiebreaker between this book and I See London and I See France, I think. So I'm like, yay, I definitely want to read books about fairies, and I'm hoping it's a quick read because it's not that long. I'm guessing, oh, it's just 300 pages, so that should be a quick read, hopefully. So yeah, and all I know is a book about fairies, and that's all I need to know, because fairies are my favorite magical creatures of all time. The last book on my TBR is The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. Someone mentioned in one of my videos that I talked about my summer reading list, and she said it's good. I forgot her name, but she told me it's good, and I was like, definitely add this to my TBR because I want to read a classic that I'm not like forced to read for a class. So I'm hoping this will be a good pick because I actually grew up watching a movie before I found out it was based on a book. So I'm like, yes, I want to read it so bad. So I'm hoping this book will be a perfect read. Plus, it would be a classic that I would like since I saw the movie, and I'm hoping to know the difference between the book and the movie. So that's all for my May wrap up and June TBR. If you enjoyed this video, give this a thumbs up and comment down below some of the books you've read in May or some of the books that you're planning on reading in June. And if you want to follow me on social media, I have Facebook under Last Reader, and I have Twitter and Instagram on Last Reader 19. I also have Goodreads, which I'll link down below. And if you don't want to miss any of my videos, hit subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!